everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Carly and you're watching Sewscape. And today I have a fun video showing you guys everything that I made up in the month of April. So for once, actually, everything that I made this month came from the April issue of Burda Style. So they all came from the same issue. I try to do 4 things from every issue, but it always seems like one of them has to come from a previous issue because my magazine is late or I'm on a time crunch or something like that. But because I was away on vacation for the first little bit of this month, I didn't start sewing for April until I actually got back after Easter. So after taking a couple weeks off of sewing, I really felt rejuvenated and wanted to get right back into sewing. So I sewed everything up pretty quickly and just loved the process and loved getting back to sewing. So I'll show you kind of everything that I made this month. So everything comes from this issue. So the first thing I ended up sewing was this dress 119. I love the kind of bohemian style of this entire magazine. I felt it was very like Coachella, festival season, very hippie-ish. I had just watched Daisy Jones and the Six. I had mentioned in my plans video and felt very inspired by all the outfits in that. So it was really nice that this issue really coincided with that. And I got to sew a lot of things. So this dress is lovely. It has pin tucks down the front and the back. The pin tucks were pretty difficult in this fabric because it didn't hold a press very well, but once you stitch them all down, it looks really good. And because mine aren't perfect, it's pretty good that the fabric is a quite busy print. So you get the idea if you're looking close that, oh, this is a pin tuck, but it doesn't really show how uneven they are. Not that they are super uneven, but they for sure are a little bit uneven. This was pretty daunting because it has a facing on the front neckline that you just snip into. So once you like sew that facing on, you just like cut it right down the middle and then fold the facing inward. And every time I do a facing like this, I just say a little prayer and hope it all works out. Because once you sew it, there's nothing really, well, you can fix it, but you know, you kind of have one shot at getting that cut just perfect. And I did okay. I think I stitched a little bit close to that center line because I know as it gets towards the tip, you're just supposed to kind of do 2 stitches across before you go back up. And I kind of stitched everything kind of almost like a 1/4 inch apart all the way down, going down to like 1/8 of an inch apart at the very tip of the V of the neck. And so I am scared the seam allowance will come undone. So I just added some fray check to that. The fabric is this kind of like polyester crepe that I thrifted. It costed me like $3. I got it a couple of years ago at a thrift store. And so I don't think it's gonna kind of fray or like decompose in the washing machine or anything, but I really wanted that. I added, you know, fray check. It's basically liquid plastic to kind of keep everything together at that neckline. So I love the little tie details on this. I love how it kind of cinches in at the waist. And I like the length of it. It makes me feel very dramatic. I wore it to work and everyone was like, oh, you look fancy today. But I'm okay looking fancy. So like sometimes I feel like a little overdressed, but this was just the right amount of overdressed. I find you could really dress it down with, say, like some strappy sandals and a jean jacket, or dress it up with an updo and a pair of heels. So yeah, I loved this make. It was a really great first make after being away from sewing for a while because it had enough detail. And the sleeve on this pattern is really interesting. It almost looks inverted, like the top of the sleeve should really be the bottom of the sleeve, but it adds this really cool flouncy detail, and I absolutely love this sleeve, and I'm going to take this sleeve and put it on other tops for sure. So after I sewed up that dress, I was really looking forward to sewing a pair of flared jeans that was in the issue, but the fabric that I ordered from Fabricville hadn't arrived yet. So I did a little palette cleanser project, and it was top 109B, I believe. No, sorry, it was 109A. I think they're the same. The only difference is maybe how long they are. So I made the shorter version and it's a little bit cropped. I kind of went along with kind of that same like festival hippie theme, and I used this super fun psychedelic fabric. So I really did not want to drive to the fabric store, so the interfacing that I used for this project was just like leftover interfacing that I had on hand, which was actually very expensive, like quite medium weight interfacing, and this fabric is definitely like very flowy. So the collar like stands up pretty stiff in the video that I'm showing you here. I hadn't pressed it or anything, but I actually kind of like the stiff look, and I feel like it meets like retro with futuristic. So I like to kind of really iron this so it stands up quite tall. The buttons that I put on the back are pretty heavy, so they kind of droop down a little bit in the back. But honestly, I always have so much hair like on my back that like, not on my back, but my hair is kind of backwards, so no one can really see those buttons anyways, which is always a shame because I pick my buttons for every project to kind of go with it, and they always get hidden by my hair, and my hair always gets stuck in the buttons. But I love this top. I made a size 42. This was also a very similar fabric to the other one. It is a thrifted poly crepe of some sort. This one feels a little bit softer and breathes a little bit more. I love the way this is cut around the arms. I feel like it is super flattering, and I normally wear it tucked in. If it's untucked, I feel like maybe it's a little bit long, but it's long enough for everything to kind of stay tucked into my pants. I loved this as a palette cleanser. It was a really quick pattern. I sewed it up in just a couple of hours, including tracing. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this pattern. After that, the denim came. It arrived, and the denim was a little bit lighter than I expected. But I had ordered in the magazine, I think it calls for 1.7, maybe 2 meters of fabric, of 58-inch wide fabric maybe, and online it said that the fabric width was 42 for the stretch denim that I had purchased, which is 8-ounce bleached indigo denim from Fabricville. And so I ordered a little extra. I ordered 3 yards of the fabric, and then time went by, and then the fabric came in the mail, and it was actually 58 inches wide, and they sent me like 4 meters of this fabric. So I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm not saying anything. I love it. Thank you guys so much for sending it to me. I paid for it obviously, but thank you guys for measuring so generously. And so I made up the pants. There is a video coming on the making of these pants, because in the magazine the jeans are 110B and they sit below the waist, and I like all my jeans to sit right at my natural waist. I find it's the most flattering. I like to dress in thirds, so like my bottom half is 2/3, my top half is the 1/3, and I feel like it really suits my body type. So this is how I dress. And so yeah, I filmed a tutorial on how I raise the rise of these jeans. Look for that coming up pretty soon. It's all kind of put together and I'm just waiting for it to go out. And so yeah, I love these jeans. After I've made all the alterations to them, I would definitely make it again. The next time I make it, I'm probably going to draft a front pocket, just because I feel like I am missing something on the front, but I do love kind of how sleek it looks. So to this pattern, I added a fly front, just because I feel like it looks missing if there's no fly on the front of the pants. And then I raised the rise and I added some back pockets, because a girl's gotta have pockets. So yes, I made a size 44 grading out to a 46, and if I was to make it again, I would make a size 42 grading out to maybe a 44, just because the pattern is drafted for stretch denim. But I feel, and then the last thing I ended up sewing this month was this cute little bra top here. It's super cropped. This was a quick project as well. I made this out of a thrifted duvet cover. I thrifted this a couple years ago, and I sewed a dress for Easter, last Easter, out of the same dress or same fabric. The dress is pretty tight on me, but I really love this fabric and love these colors on me. It's not the most comfortable fabric. It is kind of a little bit scratchy, but that's fine. Fashion over comfort always. So this top, it has some errors. I had some fit issues. I made a size 42, but I feel like for the cup size, I could have made a size 40, but left the band size of 42 because the band fits pretty perfectly, but the cups were just a little bit big for my chest. So instead of going in and doing the proper thing of like altering the princess seam so everything fit nice and snug, I just did the quick and dirty method of adding a little dart in the side of the cup because the fabric print is so messy. Not messy, so cluttered that I feel like the seam gets hidden. And that really took away from the gaping that was happening. And then another thing that I did, I found that the way the cups were positioned, it was very like chesty right in the middle for me, and that's fine. But I just overlapped the cups like this so that there was a little bit more coverage like right in the center of the cleavage. Just so like if I'm like, you know, bending over, I'm not like totally spilling out of it. If I was to remake this again, I would figure out a way to put a little bit of support in it because it's definitely a top that you would wear without a bra. And as someone who like does have, you know, cleavage happening, I would want just like a little bit more coverage. So I don't know if there's a way that I could add like some boning to it or underwire or something like that, just so I felt a little bit more supported. But I'm gonna wear this all summer. It's great to beat the heat. I did feel like the zipper on the one side, I sewed it a little wonky, so, but honestly, I'm not gonna be wearing this to work. This is gonna be what I wear like to the beach or going for ice cream. So, I don't even think I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna love the imperfections, and I'm gonna be sewing actually this month a little skirt to go with it. So it'll look like a dress, but it's really separate. So stay tuned for that. And so I had a really lovely month of sewing. This issue was really great. Almost everything I would sew again. Burda comes out with so many amazing patterns every month. I feel like there's not too much of a need to sew anything twice. But going forward through time, you know, 10 years down the road, I'll probably love to revisit these patterns and make them again because everything comes right back in style. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit that button so you can see more content like this. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Have the most wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.